She was 32 years old, a mother of 6 daughters. A woman so funny that strangers on the internet would watch her for hours just to feel something. She had brand deals. She had a growing platform. She had a husband who posted about her like she was everything. And on February 4th, 2026, inside the home she shared with her kids and that same husband, she was shot 3 times. Her anniversary was the next morning. Her birthday was the morning after that. She never made it to either one. You're watching Cases Decoded. This is the story of Rolanda Perry Watkins, known online as Snookie. And this is about every single warning sign that was right there in front of us the entire time. Stay with me, because this one is going to hit different. Before we go any further, drop a comment right now. Tell me where you are watching from and what time it is over there. I want to know who is in this with me tonight. Let me tell you who this woman was before any of this happened. Rolanda Perry Watkins was not the kind of person you forgot. Not quietly. Not in a she was sweet kind of way. In a loud, bright, make you spit your drink out kind of way. She went by Snookie online. And that name fit her perfectly. Bold, unfiltered, warm, and completely unbothered by what anybody thought. She had this gift where she could be in the middle of a regular Tuesday, doing absolutely nothing, and find something in it that would make you call your friend just to send them the clip. She posted on Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat. She had wigs. She had comedy. She had energy that came through the screen and grabbed you. And behind all of it, behind every video, every brand deal, every punchline, there were 6 little girls. 6 daughters. A house full of noise and life and love. Rolanda had signed on as a brand ambassador for Maven Hair, the ready-to-wear wig company built for women who don't have time to bleach knots at midnight. And she didn't just promote their products. She sold them. She had toothbrush partnerships, hair dye deals, margarita mix promotions, multiple things running at the same time, all managed from her living room in between cooking, doing hair, and raising those 6 kids. Her sister Anita Perry described her in a way that stopped me cold. She said, "To know my sister was to love my sister." Her mother skills were top of the charts. Everything she did was for her kids. Those 6 daughters were always the center of it all. The reason she got up. The reason she kept going. The reason she showed up to that ring light every single day, even when she probably didn't feel like it. That is who Rolanda Watkins was. And I need you to hold that because what comes next is going to be very hard to sit with. Rolanda and Jerry Watkins III had been together for 6 years and married for 3 when all of this happened. They built a whole life. A home on Sycamore Street in Sandusky, Ohio. 6 daughters between them. And a social media presence that, from the outside, looked like something people genuinely aspired to. On Facebook, Jerry went by J. Smooth. And in the early content, they actually looked like they had it figured out. They did pranks. They made jokes. They posted each other. People left comments saying relationship goals, and they actually meant it. On February 5th, 2024, their anniversary, Rolanda posted on Facebook, 6 years together, 3 years of marriage. Happy anniversary, J. Smooth. That was a woman who still believed in what she was celebrating. And Jerry, the year before, on her birthday, February 6th, 2025, had posted, "I want to say happy born day to my beautiful wife, Rolanda Watkins. Snookie Perry. It's me and you forever. I love you to the moon and back. Today is your day. Let's go and enjoy it. It's me and you forever." Hold on to that line. We are coming back to it. Now, if you went back through those videos closely enough, you would start to see things. Things people either missed or chose to read as just entertainment. The first sign was subtraction. Jerry started disappearing from the videos. Not all at once, but gradually. First fewer appearances, then almost none. And if you have watched enough couple content on social media, you already know what it means when one person starts fading out of the frame. Something is happening off camera. And the camera is no longer welcome in that part of the story. The second sign was the jokes. In one video, Jerry looked directly at the camera and said, "Y'all ever look at your significant other and think, I left all my women for this?" Rolanda laughed. The comments laughed. The algorithm rewarded it. And everyone kept scrolling. But here is the thing about jokes. Every joke carries a little truth inside it. And going back through those videos now, knowing how this story ends, nothing sounds like a joke anymore. Not a single thing. I have covered a lot of cases on this channel. And one thing I keep learning is that the most dangerous people are not always the obvious ones. A lot of times they show you exactly who they are, wrap it in a laugh track, and then make you feel crazy for taking them seriously. Rolanda herself made a video talking about what happens when you stop feeling happy in a relationship. She talked about it like it was a skit, but what she was actually doing was describing her own life. She dressed it up in comedy because that was the only language she had for it right then. And then there was a spoken word piece. Rolanda posted a video where she stood in front of the camera and said something real, something raw, something that was not content. It was a confession. It was a woman telling you exactly how heavy things had gotten. Wrapped in a format her audience would watch, share, and hit the like button on. People left fire emojis. Nobody asked if she was okay. And that is one of the most painful things about all of this. She was broadcasting her pain in the only frequency she knew how to use. And the algorithm rewarded it. And the audience clapped. And nobody saw what was underneath it. By early 2026, things inside that marriage had gotten very bad. Rolanda had reportedly confided to people close to her that something had broken. The details of what was happening inside that home were known to very few people. But something had broken, and it wasn't getting better. February 4th, 2026. At approximately 5:40 in the afternoon, officers from the Snookie Police Department were called to Sycamore Street for a reported shooting. Inside that home, Rolanda had been shot 3 times. When officers arrived, Jerry Watkins III was armed with a knife. He had barricaded himself on the 2nd floor of the house. He did not fire once in a moment of panic. He did not shoot once and stop. He shot his wife 3 times. And then instead of calling for help, instead of doing anything to save her, he went upstairs. He barricaded himself. He picked up a knife. And he stood up there knowing exactly what he had just done to her. Knowing she was downstairs. Knowing their children were in that house. First responders reached Rolanda and started working on her right there on the scene. She was still alive. They rushed her to a local hospital. She fought. She was alive long enough to be transported. Alive enough that, in those first moments, there was still a window. She did not make it through that window. Upstairs, while the first responders worked on Rolanda, Jerry had turned a knife on himself. Self-inflicted wounds to his neck, his arms, and his chest. Now let me say this plainly. He had enough awareness to know what he had done was catastrophic. Enough presence of mind to grab a different weapon. Enough control to pick where to cut himself. And enough clarity to choose the knife, not the gun he had just shot his wife with 3 times. A man with that much control over his own actions did not shoot his wife 3 times by accident. After a standoff, officers from the special response team took Jerry into custody. Both he and Rolanda were taken to the hospital that evening. Only one of them came out alive. Evidence recovered at the scene. A 9mm semi-automatic pistol. For shell casings. A knife. And a house full of children who had just watched their world collapse. I need you to hear this part carefully, because this is the detail that stays with me more than almost anything else in this entire case. The call that told Rolanda's family what had happened did not come from a neighbor. It did not come from a police officer. It came from one of Rolanda's daughters. A child picked up the phone. A little girl found a way to reach her aunt and deliver the news. I do not have words for what that must have taken from that child. And I do not have words for what her aunt felt when she heard her niece's voice on the other end of that line. By the time Anita Perry made it to Sandusky, Rolanda was already gone. Perry described the days after like someone still trying to find somewhere solid to stand. She said, "I'm still in disbelief. I'm shocked. I really don't know how I'm feeling. Just one day at a time. One day at a time." And on top of her own grief, Perry now had 6 little girls who needed someone to hold them together. She made that decision without hesitation. She said, "I got them babies. I feel like I owe that to my sister. I'm going to make sure those babies are raised the way she was raising them. She took all 6 in, because that is what Rolanda would have done for her. And she knew it without having to think about it for even 1 second. The community showed up. People donated. People came out. The family held a balloon release in Rolanda's honor. And the turnout was proof of how many lives she had touched, even through a screen. Perry has said publicly that she wants answers. She had talked to both Rolanda and Jerry before any of this happened. She knew things were not perfect. She knew there were problems. But she said, I ain't never think that he would do that to my sister. And the question she keeps sitting with, the one she says she wants to look him in the face and ask one day, is simply why. Jerry Watkins III was charged with 1 count of murder. He was held without bond at Erie County Jail. Additional charges were pending grand jury review at the time of this video. He is now facing the full weight of a decision that took seconds to make. A decision that destroyed his daughter's childhoods, his wife's future, whatever was left of himself, and a family that will never be the same. Here is what I keep coming back to when I go through all of this. And I have been through it more than once. The jokes were not just jokes. The skits were not just skits. That spoken word piece was not content. And those Facebook posts from Jerry were not just things you share because they sound nice on a Tuesday afternoon. They were a map. And nobody knew to read them as one, until it was February 5th and she was gone. Rolanda was 35 days into the year she had been so excited about. 35 days. She had talked about who she was going to be in 2026, what she was going to build, what she wanted for herself and those 6 daughters. She got 35 days of it. Her anniversary was the next morning. Her birthday was the morning after that. And I keep coming back to what Jerry posted on her birthday in 2025. It's me and you forever. I love you to the moon and back. Forever ended on February 4th at 5:40 in the afternoon, with 4 shell casings on the floor, and their children in the house. I believe God sees every woman who is quietly falling apart inside a marriage she is performing strength in. The ones who wrap their pain in comedy because they don't know what other language to use for it yet. No woman should have to die to prove that the home she was trying to hold together was already on fire. The love Rolanda poured into those 6 daughters lives on. And Perry is going to make sure of that. May Rolanda Snookie Watkins rest in peace. And to every woman watching this who is performing strength she doesn't have, who is wrapping her pain in humor because she doesn't know what else to do with it, please don't wait for someone to finally notice. Please reach out. Your life matters. Your children need their mama. And no relationship on this earth is worth what Rolanda paid. Thumbs up if this story moved you like this video. Share it with someone who needs to see it. Leave a comment and tell us what you felt, what you were thinking, what this brought up for you. And if you are not subscribed to Cases Decoded yet, hit that button right now. Every single story we cover matters. Rest easy, Snookie. You deserved so much better than this. That is it for today's episode of Cases Decoded. Stay safe out there. I'll see you in the next one.